Here's another way to sketch graphs really quickly. So let's say we have f of x equals to x minus 1, x minus 3 squared. So we know this is a cubic graph, and we know that cubic graphs do something like this. This is x to the power 3. So obviously then we could do all the transformation that we can. That was the first method. We've already talked about it, and I will link the video to that. But today we're going to use a different method, and this one is break down this function into parts that you know and you can draw the graph of, and then build your way up. I'll tell you what I mean. So here I could break this down into this graph here. Let us call this H, and this graph here, and let's call this graph G. G is a quadratic. We know how to draw quadratics. H is a straight line. We know how to draw straight lines. So let us start with H, and I'll draw it in green. So H is x minus 1. This is a straight line. It's a positive gradient, and it goes through minus 1, right? So this is minus 1. So this is H. It's x minus 1. Perfect. Now we've got x minus 3. This is a quadratic, right? And we know that quadratics just go through 0, 0. That is an x squared graph. So this is x squared. If I transform this, if I translate this to draw x minus 3, it would come here, positive 3. It will still go through there and have something like that. So this is x minus 3 squared. And I will draw it on here. It crosses 3, crosses the y-axis somewhere there, and it's a smiley face. Right, excellent. So this is x minus 3 squared. And the straight line graph, x minus 1, goes through y at 0.1, because obviously the slope is just 1. The number in front of the x is just 1. So you can see here that if I multiply these two graphs, the resultant is the f of x function that I'm trying to draw. So how do we multiply them? Well, I know that anything multiplied by 0 has to be 0. So the resultant graph has to be 0 here and here. So this is multiplying 0 multiplied by a certain number of y here, which is 0, and 0 multiplied by a certain number of y here, it's 0. So at 1 and at 3, it crosses through there and there. Now every point after 3, so I'm talking about this part of the graph, is I'm multiplying positive values of y from x minus 1 and positive values of y from x minus 3 squared, which is going to result in positive values because I'm multiplying them. So it's going to do something like that. And obviously it's 0 here. Then what is happening between 1 and 3? Well, I've got positive values of the quadratic, and I've also got positive values of the straight line. However, there are different gradients, right? So you see, you've got a positive gradient from the x minus 1 straight line, and I've got a negative gradient coming from the quadratic. And whenever you have a positive gradient and a negative gradient, they're going to form a maximum. So this means that we have something going on like this here. And then obviously every point below 1, so coming this side here, is I've got negative values of y from the straight line, and I'm multiplying that by positive values from the quadratic, and that will bring negative. So it will go down like that. And that's it. That is your function x minus 1, x minus 3 squared. Perfect. Practice lots of these, and trust me, between the two ways, whether you're doing your Oxbridge interview, whether you're doing your exam, you can sketch this graph really quickly.